What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week 11 in the National Football League. My name is Dexter Reed, and you are watching World of Matchups, National Football League television preview show that airs every Friday on Grab It Television. Thanks for joining us. To my right, I have our super producer and on-screen general, Mr. Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say what's up to the people out there.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, everybody. As always, things have heated up in the National Football League week after week. There is more heavy content that we're going to bring to you before we break things down. Let's start with NFL news and notes, some quick hitters for the people. Aaron Jones, sprained MCL, is going to be out a minimum of 2 weeks. It could be longer. It could be shorter. From what I understand, this is the third time that he has sprained his MCL. He's a quick healer. Expect him to be out maybe 2 weeks, but who knows? He could be back next week. It's all about how his body heals. Next, Le'Veon Bell has been released. This guy's career is pretty much over. He might as well stick to making rap music in his house because his National Football League career has come to an end. Nobody wants him anymore. That's that for him. Next. Look, Saquon Barkley has been hurt. He's been banged up a lot, but he is finally trending towards playing, getting in some limited practices, moving past the COVID protocol. I fully expect to see him on Monday night versus Tampa Bay. We'll see what Joe Judge does with him. Lord knows the New York Football Giants need this guy on the field to have any shot of beating Tampa Bay on Monday. Next, look, CEH has been out for a while. He's probable to return from IR. Andy Reid is now saying they may hold him out through the bye to make sure he's 100% fresh. I think that's based off the production that you saw out of Darrell Williams Sunday night in Las Vegas. The guy was an absolute RB1 mammoth, so they may rest CEH. Don't be surprised if he does not come back this week, but he is slated to return. Next, this one hurt my soul. Ugh. Chase Young done for the year. Torn ACL. Look, it's not like he was really doing much anyway, but you never want to see these type of things happen to these stud players. It seems like this happens to pretty much every stud player in the NFL at least once. It's like catching a cold, having a torn ACL now. We wish you well, Chase, in your recovery. Nothing but love and hugs coming out of World of Matchups. We look forward to seeing you back on the field next season. Next, another big injury, and this is a huge one. DT, Bucks, Vita Vea. Boy, Vita Vea is an absolute beast. And now they have a hole in the middle of the field. He's out with a sprained MCL. Same kind of injury Aaron Jones has. He could be done for a couple weeks as well. This is a huge blow to Tampa Bay. Look out with him not in the middle of the field. There's more running room. This is a guy that can handle two players at once, who's now all of a sudden on the shelf. Next. Big Ben status is up in the air for Sunday's game at L.A. The COVID protocol has him out. He could be back in, says Mike Tomlin, but there's a good chance that you may see Mason Rudolph. It's going to come down to a coin flip, game time decision, Saturday drop-dead COVID date to see if he actually plays. Now, very important, updated COVID protocol for the National Football League. So I'm going to read this out because it's very intricate. The NFL sent a memo informing teams of enhancing their COVID-19 protocols around the Thanksgiving holiday. Like, for some reason, on Thanksgiving, this is more of a thing. I don't understand it. Why now?
Everybody knows that COVID only comes out during Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
so.
It's like a holiday-generated illness. Anyway, all players, whether vaccinated or not, and personnel interacting with players will be required to wear masks from November 25th till December 1st. While they're at all the team's facilities. The memo also says that teams will be required to make video of their weight rooms and cafeterias available to the league before or on November 25th. They don't want any of this Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Brown nonsense going on. The NFL is basically trying to cover their behinds here, okay? All players will be tested on Monday, November 29th, and Wednesday, December 1st. Under the usual protocols, vaccinated players are only tested once a week, while unvaccinated players are tested every single day. The memo also encourages teams to provide drive-through testing at their facilities for family and friends who will be visiting for the holiday. That testing should be designed to take place before those visitors interact with players or other team personnel. My goodness, what a bunch of malarkey. I mean, come on, Spencer. The NFL is just trying to save face here because it's been nothing but bad, negative COVID press laying at their doorstep. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get it. They're a business and they're trying to cover their tracks, but I will say this, of the other leagues, they have had no stoppages because of COVID, so I guess something's working on some level for them.
Yeah, the NFL freight train cannot stop, and it will not stop. They'd rather have egg on their face than lose $1, so we know that. But it seems a little extreme, as if COVID comes out twice as hard over like turkey season. I don't know. I'm not buying the hype. You know, Flavor Flav said don't believe the hype, and it absolutely applies here. All right, Thursday Night Football recap. This is going to be a quick one. All right, look. This is the easiest cookie of a pick I could take all season long. I told everybody on my quick hitter that the Pats was going to roll, and that's exactly what happened as they shut out the Atlanta Falcons 25-0. This is an absolute abomination of a game, and the Atlanta Falcons, they really need to do some soul-searching here, okay? Couple things. The Atlanta offense is absolutely putrid. Matt Ryan, folks, was never elite. Let's just say this right now. Okay, you take away the one MVP season had and the guy's Andy Dalton. Period. I will never, ever back off that. Now, Bill Belichick and the Patriots are ascending here. They're 7-4. Ever since Bill made that one mistake, kicking that 56-yarder in the rain instead of giving the ball to Mac Jones to try to win the game, they're undefeated. And they're doing this with not a whole lot. Their offense is absolutely disgusting. But they're running the ball well. Mac Jones is using play action really well. This guy has got 7 wins. The rest of the rookie class has 5 wins combined. And the Pats defense is giving up absolutely nothing. They're picking balls off. They're scoring on defense. Folks, it's time to start looking at the Patriots as a viable threat again in the National Football League. I think to this point, Bill Belichick has to be looked at for Coach of the Year. Based on what he has. Mac Jones is a rookie. And they're dismantling these teams. Atlanta looked helpless last night. It's time to really blow up what's happening in Atlanta and start fresh. I'd be looking to get a quarterback there as soon as possible. Your thoughts on them, Spencer?
Yeah, I'm thinking like even next year, because their offense is a little weird. They have these 2 giant tight ends, which doesn't really make sense. And I don't think it's Mac Jones' play style either. I don't even know who he played tight end with at Alabama. He likes his big wide receivers. I could see them getting like an Odell Beckham in the offseason. He's probably going to make trouble in L.A., like we know. If there's a troublemaker and they're going to Los Angeles, I can't imagine it's going to work out so well. He should have never gone there in the first place. So he might leave in the offseason, and then it just seems like the perfect Bill Belichick kind of guy. Mac Jones will find him, and it's been incredible to watch the kid play. I was a big fan of his coming into the year. Trevor Lawrence was that true number 1 that everyone knew. But after that, my favorite guy was Mac Jones, and he's proven that. He's got a great coach, obviously, to help him out.
The right coach.
Who knows if he was playing on a different team? But for the most part, been really happy with what I've seen from him. Why I hate the Patriots, but I'm a fan of Mac Jones. So
I'm a fan of Mac Jones too. I'm about to break up with Justin Herbert and start dating Mac Jones on the low because he's been showing up and Justin Herbert really hasn't, and I've been kind of talking him up, and. When you look at this game last night, we know what Bill Belichick does great. He takes away the other team's best player. Kyle Pitts was a non-factor. They had no running game. This game was the biggest joke. Anyone that could have possibly taken the Falcons to win this game needs to have their head examined. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
It is interesting. The only thing I'll say left is they had no Cordell Patterson. Obviously they're without Calvin Ridley, and
Mike Davis is a bum.
yeah, and he was supposed to be kind of big this year. He was kind of really hyped, but nothing happened with it. It's just, I wonder what's going on with Calvin Ridley. Like, obviously, it's his personal business, but you would think, with no Kyle Pitts, that you feel like, he's taking some time off. Like, he may be coming back now. Like, the team needs him the most, but still not there.
Yeah, and I'm all for players having their private lives remain private, but I find it really interesting that you've really not heard anything about Calvin Ridley at all. Like, nothing. Like, nobody knows what's going on with this guy. Like, he could be in Bali right now. Like, no one has an idea, and I get the mental health thing. I'm not here to poo-poo on that. But, like, where is he? What is he doing? No one knows. Atlanta's in big trouble here. Atlanta may not win another game this year. I will go as far as saying that. They may not win another game this year. After you get blown out at Dallas, to get blown out last night at home, they haven't won a game in their building all year. Mac Jones has 2 wins in that building. They've got none. I mean, they're in big trouble. Next. Look, you know what time of the show it is, folks. This is where we go after the refs. This is one of my most fun parts because they blow it every single week. All right? Hold on to your hats because we are about to roast the refs.
No, God! No, God, please,
Pass is incomplete, no flag.
no!
All right, folks, you know what time it is. The shirt's on, the whistle is in hand. We are here to roast the refs. Roasting the refs, sponsored by Heroes Heating and Air. Check out heroesheatingandair.com for all your service needs. Medford, Oregon. Let's go. 4 clips for you this week. A lot of them are still of the roughing the passer variety. Let's start with this roughing the passer on Lamar Jackson. Roll tape, Spence. Look, folks, if this is roughing the passer, we might as well get to 2-hand touch.
How's it going, Coach?
How's it going? Awesome! Nobody's getting hurt and the kids are learning valuable life lessons because hugging and safety is what the world is all about.
That cannot be roughing the passer in the National Football League. I'm sorry. He did not go helmet to helmet. He did not even hit the guy in the air. He barely grazed the quarterback. This has got to stop. It seems like every week when we run tape here, it's all these roughing the passer ones. Why are we protecting these quarterbacks in this fashion? Why?
There's some sort of weird emphasis, and referees love the word emphasis, I think, especially with the what's it called, taunting calls and all that. It's like if it's on the edge, then you call it. That's not how referees should be calling games.
It's ridiculous. I mean, Helen Keller can see that was not roughing the passer. This next one is even worse, and it seems like every week Ryan Tannehill is up here. Why are they protecting Ryan Tannehill like Tom Brady? Folks, how is that roughing the passer? That is just a tackle. I'm sorry. The player is already coming after the quarterback when the ball is going forward. How is that 15 yards? That is egregious. Why are we protecting Ryan Tannehill like this?
I think we should even reconsider how much of a penalty it is like to do roughing the passer. I'll give you the automatic first down. 15 yards?
15 yards?
Is insane.
15 yards? You should break a guy's neck to get 15 yards. This is unbelievable. Refs, you guys got to get this together. Next. This is one that is on the fence, but I believe that this is one where the refs should have let this one go, okay? Monday Night Football. The game is 31-7. Kwan Williams picks this ball off. And this is something that I haven't seen before. This is like David Tyree's helmet catch. He catches the ball between his legs and holds it on his butt. This should be a pick, but they call pass interference. Why? Because as Cooper freaking Kupp, the golden boy of the NFL, white boy wide receiver elite, look here. Is that really pass interference? You gotta give that guy that play. Refs, swallow your whistle there. You don't blow the whistle there. You don't throw the flag there. The game is in hand. That's a fantastic play. That guy deserves a steak dinner for that play. Next, finally, and you know I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. So this is one of the fumble recovery status. How is that Green Bay ball first down? How? We're going to roll this again, Spencer. Okay? And the NFL gives some kind of nonsense about forward motion. That ball is in the hands of a Seattle Seahawks defender. My friends, they call that first down Green Bay. You want to talk about missing a call? My goodness, that was absolutely egregious. We have to get these calls right every single week. It's the same nonsense. Every single week, these plays are making people pull their hair out. I have no hair because I have to watch plays like this week in and week out. You NFL referees are making an average of $205,000 a year to be more wrong than the weathermen in Oregon. Shame on all of you. Get it right. Get your eyes checked. Do what you have to do and stop making these BS calls. I have spoken.
Refs are blind. Simple. I'm sorry, but you're blind. Like, open your eyes and do your job. It's so bad. It's unbelievable.
All right, folks, before we jump into our mailbag Q&A for the week, we want to let you know that we are everywhere on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, grabittelevision.com, YouTube. We're all over the place. Check us out. Find us, like, subscribe, sign up at Grab It TV. All the content's there. Let us know what you're thinking. We appreciate your support. Don't get left out in the cold not knowing what's happening in the National Football League when you can know from World of Matchups, the super information highway coming to you live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, let's get to our mailbag for the week, okay? I got a couple questions coming out of Long Island first from Danny O'Brien. Can the Rams overcome Robert Woods' injury? Look, Bobby Trees wasn't really having that great of a year anyway. This is really going to depend on how Odell Beckham Jr. and Matthew Stafford mesh. This is a kind of a huge loss because he did draw a little bit of attention away from Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp is getting his targets. They're going to force feed Cooper Kupp like a sumo wrestler. It's just that simple. I don't think it will be that huge of a loss when you have ancillary pieces like Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, Darrell Henderson can catch the ball out of the backfield. I don't think it will hurt that much, but it is something to watch. Now that you have to establish a relationship as a number 2 receiver with a brand new guy in ODB, and Matthew Stafford has been known to push the ball places it shouldn't be. I was big on the Rams as being a Super Bowl contender, and for the time being, I still am. But ever since we gave Matthew Stafford that Maggie MVP award, he hasn't done much of anything except stink up the joint. This is a situation to monitor. Next, Alex Gannum, Las Vegas, Nevada, wants to know, is Nick Sirianni getting better as a head coach? I would have to say he is. I've been really down on the Eagles, but they're 4-6 right now. I'm taking them this week. I think they'll be 5-6. I looked at the schedule. It's fairly easy. And the one thing that I needed to see from Sirianni is run the ball. Run the ball and protect your quarterback. You have to protect your investment. You cannot have a rookie quarterback dropping back and throwing 50 times and expecting them to win. He's starting to be used like they're using Mac Jones in New England, and I think they're learning that even if you don't have one guy back there to be the guy, I know Miles Sanders has been on IR. They've just been rotating a bunch of different guys in there. Jordan Howard's been good. Boston Scott's been okay. They even have Gainwell if anything happens to those two guys. Just keep running the ball. Be opportunistic with your throws, and they came away with a pretty big win on the road, albeit as versus the terrible Broncos, but it's still a win at Mile High. This is a situation to monitor. Do I think they're going to the Super Bowl? No. But he's getting better. We have to give him his flowers. Next, Rob the Raider. Boy, I love Rob the Raider. So Rob the Raider sent me some stuff via text this week, and he wants to talk about how Cassius Marsh being fined 5% of his salary versus Aaron Rodgers, who was fined 0.5% of his salary for 14 weeks of COVID violations versus one BS unsportsmanlike conduct call in last week's game. Look, the bottom line is this, folks. It's money. It's who you are in the National Football League. I talked about it a little bit last week. It's Roger Goodell, who he's in bed with, who the handshakes are. I personally think that the National Football League is scared of Aaron Rodgers. I think they are. He can go anywhere and blast the National Football League and pretty much play. There's never any fines, and the fines that he gets are absolutely egregious. No wonder Cassius Marsh couldn't say anything during that press conference. He only makes, what, $150,000 a year? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want a dime of that money going back to the NFL, whereas Aaron Rodgers is making like $28 million, bazillion trillion dollars a year. It's insane. Your thoughts, Spence?
I think the only thing I wanted to say was I wish $150,000 was only what I made.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's chump change to a guy,
Yeah.
you know, in the National Football League. But to us, that's like my life savings right now times a million. Absolutely egregious, and we all know why. It's because there's all this handshake deals. Look, privilege is real in the National Football League. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And if the fines were levied fairly across the board, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't even be playing right now. But I've said what I need to say about that, and I'm going to leave it right there.
And that's all I got to say about that.
All right, folks. Let's do what we came here to do, and that's break down games. All right? Game previews this week, 14 games. We hit big last night against the spread on Thursdays. Straight winners, Sunday and Monday. Last week was another ho-hum week for World of Matchups, 7-6-1. I hate these ties. Ridiculous. There should be no ties in the National Football League. You play until someone wins. I don't care if you drop dead on the field. 89-60-1 on the season. We're having a good season still. We're going to go early games, guys. Niners at the Jags. Look, the Niners looked great on Sunday night. They really did. I expect them to continue to ascend here versus a terrible Jags team. Deebo Samuel, Jimmy G, they're going to continue to be a thing. These guys are good players. The Niner defense will make life hard for Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville should be trying to lose every single week in the effort to bolster their team. Just get better, all right, for the future. The pick here is going to be the Niners. Now, look, I poo-pooed on the Niners last week. I said they had no soul, and they came out and they destroyed the Rams. So, and I should have seen that one coming. Any given Sunday in the NFL, a team is going to play well. That's a signature win for Kyle Shanahan. I said they hadn't beaten anyone good in forever, and they punched that team in the mouth. Now, I think the difference for San Francisco now versus the Niners then is George Kittle is back. George Kittle is a huge part of that team's offense for what he does for them. It doesn't flow through Kittle like it flows through for Kelsey, but it makes a huge difference, and you saw it last week. I fully expect them to destroy the Jags here. They're a 6.5-point favorite. I would even lay the 6.5 if I was a betting man. Next, the Washington football team at the Carolina Panthers. Look, now that Cam Newton has put back on his Superman cape, you can expect things to run a lot smoother in Carolina. CMC looked 100% for the first time in weeks, and despite my lack of love for Cam, it may be a good move for the franchise. They're going to sell some tickets. They're going to put fannies in the seats. My question is, why cut Cam to begin with then? It makes no sense. Washington just lost Chase Young for the year. The Washington football team offense is in the bottom third of the league. Expect Carolina to have a great day offensively. That's going to lead to a win, okay? All eyes need to be on Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson, who are less than 100%. If they have big games, they could steal a win here, but I just don't see that happening, folks. The pick here is going to be the Carolina Panthers. Next, Packers at Vikings. The Vikings won a big game on the road last week versus a very good Charger team. Boy, that Charger team does not know how to win at home. They just can't win at home. I expect the momentum to continue at home this week versus the Pack. Now, the Vikes have enough firepower with Cook, Cousins, Thielens, and Jefferson to score 1,000,000 points. Okay? They can score 30 on this defense. No Aaron Jones means A.J. Dillon's going to have to carry the mail for this team. Minnesota will have to stack the box and force Aaron Rodgers to beat them in the air, which he can do. He's got Devontae Adams. He's got Aaron Lazard. He's got players, okay? However, when there are two teams with bad defenses and great offenses, such as this game, I'm going to lead toward the home team. Everyone's going to love the Packers here. I'm taking the Vikings. The pick, Minnesota. Next, Lions at the Browns, a game I just don't really even want to talk about at all.
Wah. That's all I heard.
Somehow this would be Spencer's game of the week. I hate these two
I wouldn't
teams.
even go this slow.
You're right. So, the Lions are a factory of sadness. And it's officially time of the year where the Lions fans start wearing bags on their head. Jared Goff's probably not going to play. He's putrid. And Cleveland's still a decent team despite getting destroyed by New England last week. All right? Cleveland's going to be facing a guy by the name of Tim Boyle. I think this guy was a gym teacher last week. We don't even have a picture we could find of you for the show. The Cleveland defense will smother DeAndre Swift, and force the Lions into bad mistakes. Baker Mayfield is still a bum. I'm sorry. And he's banged up bad. He's banged up really bad right now. Baker Mayfield is one hit away from being out for the season, all right? But whatever quarterback they run out there for the Lions is going to be worse. And that's going to be the difference maker. Special teams should be vital to winning the game here, as both offenses currently look lost. Now, Nick Chubb will be back, I think, so expect a dominant performance from him. Kevin Stefanski should sit Mayfield and let Case Keenum play before you kill this guy. But Mayfield wants to play. Why? He wants that contract, and I get that. The Lions' only shot at winning this season is going to be on Thanksgiving at home versus Chicago. That's it. There is a possibility that both starting quarterbacks will be out for this disgusting game. The pick is the Browns. If Kevin Stefanski was smart, he would sit Baker Mayfield because they're going to get Kareem Hunt back. Chubb's still good. They're not drowning yet. They could make the playoffs. Do you really want to get your starting quarterback hurt and then have to go with Case Keenum in the lofts? Makes no sense to me.
Are the Lions going to play at like 6 in the morning on Thanksgiving just so like they don't have to show it on national television?
It's
no one's
so
going to see
bad. It's so bad. No one even watches that game anymore. That's when everyone eats the hors d'oeuvres, or like the people that went out the night before and got hammered are kind of just waking up and getting their hangover. The games don't. Thanksgiving doesn't start till Dallas plays. Let's keep it a buck. Next, Colts at Bills. This is a good game. Okay, these are two teams on the rise. The Colts return to Buffalo to try to avenge their playoff loss there last January. Expect a big dose of Jonathan Taylor, who currently leads the league in basically everything from the running back position. The guy's just an absolute monster. Carson Wentz and Michael Pittman must be on the same page to steal this win. Now, I fully expect Buffalo to continue to roll at home versus everybody. Josh Allen is a beast, and now Stephon Diggs is slowly waking up, okay? If they can get Dawson Knox more involved, get this guy involved. All right, this guy is a good player. I know he's got the broken finger, but he's on the mend. Give them another option to score touchdowns here. It's going to be a resounding win for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills' D is going to force Wentz into being Wentz, and the Bills will win going away. The pick this week from World of Matchups is nobody circles the wagon like the Bills. Next, Spencer's game of the week. The Saints at the Eagles. New Orleans at Philly. The Eagles beat down Denver and are now heading home to play a spiraling Saints team. Miles Sanders may come off IR this week, which would be a huge boost for their backfield. Now, the Saints' defense is a bully. They're very, very good, and they should make life hard for Philly, but I just don't trust their offense anywhere, okay? The biggest question right now in the National Football League is why Sean Payton is putting any faith in Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian is one of the worst quarterbacks I have ever seen, especially when you paid Taysom Hill $5 trillion. You didn't pay him that money to sit the bench. Why is he not letting him play? I don't know. Philly's defense is playing better, and Devonta Smith is on the rise. Jalen Hurts is underrated, and Who Dat is basically dead. I'm rolling with the Eagles here. Fly. Eagles fly. The pick. The Eagles. Next. My balls on the table pick this week. The Dolphins at the Jets. The Dolphins looked like a Super Bowl contender last week versus the Ravens in primetime. They beat them down. The Jets look like, well, the Jets. Joe Flacco in his wheelchair is going to start for New York, so don't expect greatness. Now, the Miami defense should control the Jet offense, and Miami skilled players should do enough to win the game. But this is the National Football League, folks, and what you think is going to happen doesn't always happen. And sometimes we got to push all our cards to the middle of the table. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Michael Carter, they're all credible players. And I think they get win number 2 here. I really do. This is a division game. Anytime a team plays a huge game and wins in prime time and has to travel, they're ripe for the picking. Watch the Jet defense versus Tua and Brissett. The game's going to be won there. The Jets have talent, folks. They do. They have talent. And I think they get it done in a humongous upset here. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Home dogs pay dividends in the National Football League. The pick, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Next, Ravens at the Bears.
The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears are awful, and the Ravens are not performing up to their expectations. This game is going to be basically Justin Fields versus Lamar Jackson. Whichever quarterback plays better will win the game. Lamar finally got in a limited practice today. He's been ill, supposedly. Well, that's what they're saying, but he'll be out there. I don't trust either team, so I'm leaning towards the best player on the field, which will be Lamar Jackson. The Ravens' defense is still okay, and Andrews and Hollywood should be fine. They're going to have big games. Chicago just can't get it together, man. Matt Nagy should be fired. I've said this a million times. They just come off the bye week. I don't think it will matter, all right? I normally would take a team at home being a dog, but I just don't see the Chicago offense being able to do enough here to win the game, despite having good players like David Montgomery, A-Rob, and Cole Kmet. The pick's going to be the Ravens here. And look, can somebody free Tyson Williams? You remember that one game? I think it was a Monday night game. I forgot who they were playing, and they let this kid spin. He's the best running back on that team. Why do they not let this guy play? I don't understand. If you're not going to let this guy play, trade this guy. You can't tell me a young, hungry stud of a running back is not better than Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray, and Devonta Freeman. I don't understand what Harbaugh's doing. But it's Ravens all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I have no love for the Bears. Next, Texans at the touchdown Titans. The Texans are awful. The Titans are trying to host a playoff game. They got two teams going in different directions. The Titans are plugging in players to fill the losses of Julio Jones and Derrick Henry, and it's working. It's working like a fine-tuned machine, okay? The Titans' D is playing well, and they're going to force the Texans into having to throw, which they are unable to do. Ryan Tannehill is all of a sudden getting all these roughing the passer calls like he's Tom Brady, so that's helping. But he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League. And A.J. Brown is still a stud. Now, A.J. Brown hasn't done much recently, but I fully expect a breakout coming this week starting. Expect an early lead and then ground and pound late that results in a fairly easy win for the Tennessee Titans. Houston is coming off their bye, so they may have a one-trick pony or two up their sleeve, but it's not going to matter. I mean, this is a team that should be trying to lose every game, okay? The Texans, like the Lions, just lose, baby. Get those picks. Bolster your team for the future. Sometimes you have to fall back, dust yourself off, and think about 2022. This is one of those times. The pick, touchdown Titans. Touchdown Titans. All right, those are my early games, folks. We're going to take a commercial break here, and we're going to come back with our Player to Watch segment sponsored by Vegas Strong Real Estate Group. My name is Dexter Reed. See you on the flip. Heroes Heating and Air of Medford, Oregon. Folks, Heroes Heating and Air is a family-owned and locally operated business in the Rogue Valley. They provide real hero discounts for all first responders and veterans. Heroes Heating and Air is Southern Oregon's only Rheem Pro partner, and they sell quality home comfort. These are friends of mine. These are good people, and they are doing a great business in the Valley. Call them at 541-821-1615 for all your service needs, or check them out online at heroesheatingandair.com. Welcome back to World of Matchups, everybody. Before we continue, let's pay some bills. Are you looking to buy or sell your home in the Las Vegas or Henderson, Nevada area? Alex Ganem with Vegas Strong Real Estate Group, a brokerage with a cause, can help assist you with achieving your real estate needs. With 15-plus years of experience, Alex Ganem is a recipient of several client service awards, along with a top-notch selling and buying technique to get you the most for your home and the best value for your new purchase. Call Alex Ganem at Vegas Strong Real Estate Group today at 702-786-4553. Again, that's 702-786-4553. Vegas Strong Real Estate Group. We are one city, one brokerage, one dream. Now, folks, it's time for our Player to Watch segment. This week's Player to Watch is no one better than an ascending player by the name of Mr. A.J. Dillon. of the Green Bay Packers. Folks, every year there's an injury that takes place in the National Football League that allows a guy to get a little bit more run than he'd normally be getting, and that is what's happening here for the next couple weeks to Mr. A.J. Dillon, while Aaron Jones is on the shelf with that sprained MCL. A.J. Dillon, 6'1", 248. He is basically a bowling ball coming across the line of scrimmage. Hard to tackle. While he's not yet Derrick Henry, I believe if this is the guy that touched the ball 20 to 25 times a game, would be rushing for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns every single week. All of a sudden now, you're seeing him get a little bit more run, and now the backfield is all his while A.J. is down. Watch out, Minnesota Vikings this week. You guys better stack the box. This guy is a house on fire. The Boston College bully has been looking for his chance to shine, and I think it is now. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes on this guy because in the future, he could be the type of stud that wins you fantasy leagues and even takes Green Bay to a potential heavy-duty playoff game or even a Super Bowl because he controls the line of scrimmage, which eats clock, which keeps the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands and gives them their best shot to win. On behalf of World of Matchups and Spencer the Wiz, we bring to you this week's Vegas Strong Real Estate Player to Watch, Mr. A.J. Dillon. Now, let's roll into the late games. God, I love doing this. I just love doing this so much, Spencer. I dream about coming on camera and bringing this to you guys. When I tell you I love what I do for a living. If you don't love what you do, it's time for you to find something else to do. Now, Bengals at the Raiders. I'm going to let Spencer have the mic here for a second before I even get started because this has been a really, really rough couple weeks for the Las Vegas Raiders, all right? And I know that Spencer's one of the few people that have said to me flat out that the Raiders stink. And I thought the Raiders were actually good. But when I look back at the last couple years, this is what the Raiders do. Every single year, they start off hot, and then all of a sudden, they start circling the toilet bowl. I was at that game on Sunday night, and they got their teeth kicked in. Oh, boy. You guys, I think, are about to get the most epic rant you have ever gotten out of Spencer.
I want to rant, and I want to be, like, super upset, but I feel like that's kind of been taken out of me at this point. I know the Raiders have been historically good. Like, I know they have Super Bowls, so there's, like, not that much that I can complain about. All I can say is that in my lifetime, personally, the Raiders have been terrible. Like, they've been bad consistently every single year. And I don't know. I mean, I think there's just got to be a big overhaul. I think we're heading in the right direction. As crazy as that sounds after a blowout win, it feels like we're getting away from, just sticking to the past. Like, we just need to be the team that, I don't know. It needs to be fast. We need to be really tough and have dirty plays. Like, as long as we can get away from that, and they don't have the roster this year. They don't have a wide receiver one. This was never going to happen. This was never going to be a reality, going into the season. Bryan Edwards is the number one wide receiver. That's what they're selling the city on. Henry Ruggs is, gone forever now. Deshaun Jackson looks like he threw the ball out of his hands when he fumbled. Looked like he legitimately was like tossing it in the air.
What was he doing?
I'm still, excited to see what he can do for this team, but I don't know. The biggest part of that game, the blowout against the Chiefs, was Derek Carr. I was thinking, like, what am I going to tell my kids about Derek Carr when I'm older? When they ask me, hey, during this time, Derek Carr was there for a long time. What is my opinion on Derek Carr?
He's just a good guy. That's about it.
He's a great dude. He's a really good dude.
He's
great kind of
quarterback.
Head of your franchise to answer questions at the press. But every time you need this guy to show up, it's either punting the ball, throwing an interception. The whole thing that I joke with my friends about, it's like you got 6 minutes left in the game, right? It's technically not the last drive of the game. Derek Carr's got the ball down 6, and he punts the ball. That's just the epitome of his career.
Yeah.
And then other times he'll just be horrible, and sometimes he'll look like an MVP. Just too inconsistent for me, and I was a big defender of him this year, trying to say, like, he was back to form. Clearly he's not. And I just think it's going to get worse. Like, it's just not. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to get better this week.
No, it's certainly not.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, Daniel Sorensen has, I think, 5 career interceptions, and 3 of them are versus Derek Carr, and 2 of them were returned for touchdowns. So, Let's talk about this game. Bengals at the Raiders. The Raiders for the third year, they've peaked early, and now they're beginning to circle the toilet like we just talked about. After getting destroyed at home by Kansas City, they now have to face Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who are on the rise. All right, Joe Burrow is a franchise quarterback with a huge arm. The loss of Henry Ruggs has really hurt Las Vegas because now they really don't have anyone to stretch the field. I mean, Brian Edwards is Zay Jones, but they really need that number one guy. I'd go out and get that number one guy. The Raiders, no one will ever be able to convince me differently that the Raiders should not have taken Jerry Jeudy. Nobody ever.
Henry Ruggs was never supposed to be taking the first receiver off the board. It was the worst pick in recent memory.
They definitely should have taken Jerry Jeudy, so that was a big swing and miss there, okay? Derek Carr has been bad lately and been throwing balls that no quarterback should. I saw him throw a ball. It's like he threw it as high as he possibly could in the air and just wait. It was a punt. That was a terrible, terrible throw, okay? Expect Mixon, Chase, Burrow. They're going to all eat versus suspect Vegas defense, all right? Mad Max has had a good game, but he was neutralized on Sunday night. Those guys are going to watch that film, all right? You're in for a dogfight here in Vegas on Sunday. Now, Vegas should keep it close with Darren Waller. The problem is that there's no Henry Ruggs out there anymore, so now he's going to start getting doubled and tripled. I think to this point everybody can honestly say that the output they thought they were getting from Darren Waller they haven't gotten this year. And can somebody tell me, where's Josh Jacobs? This guy is always hurt. There's always something wrong with Josh Jacobs. Always. I couldn't tell you when Josh Jacobs was 100%. He was at Alabama the last time. He was 100% healthy. No run game equals no wins. I'm taking the better team coming off the bye. I'm sorry. Even Spencer said the Raiders stink, and that's a diehard Raider fan. Rob the Raider, always the saying, Raiders are going to Raider, and you have to be a Raider fan to know what that means, so I'm rolling with Houday. The pick, Cincinnati, and I'm just going to be the first one to tell you I never enjoyed another live game more than Sunday night. It was wonderful. Next, Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seattle got shut out at the road last week versus Green Bay Packers, which is why I'm taking them here. At some point, Chris Carson will be back. Probably won't be this week, okay? Expect DJ Dallas, expect Rashad Penny, whoever else is back there. You know, they'll throw whoever they can find back there. That's what they do, okay? Now, Russ had a game to shake off the rust. DK Metcalf, Lockett, these guys are too good to be this bad for this long, all right? Arizona has not impressed me for weeks after getting beat to death at home versus a bad Carolina team. The same will happen this week at the 12th man. Now, Hopkins and Murray, super questionable. Both are becoming question marks all week. There's a good chance that neither one of them play yet again. Expect the Seattle defense to stack the box versus James Conner. They're going to force the Cards to have to throw. All right, if Kyler Murray's not there, that's a big deal. All right, the pick is going to be Seattle here. I think this is a game they absolutely have to win at home. Russ is not, that finger's not 100%, but you got too much talent on that Seattle team to lose versus a team without this top two stars. Take Seattle all day, every day. Go to Sizzler. Next, Sunday Night Football. Steelers at the Chargers. Why can the Chargers not win these games at home? Is it because they don't have a true home field? What is it with this team? They lose at home to the Patriots. They lose at home to Minnesota. Who else did they lose to at home? They lose at home to Cincinnati. Every time I pick this team, I'm like, they're home, they're rested, Justin Herbert's ascending. They get destroyed. This team is in the pretender category moving forward. Now, I love Justin Herbert. I'm about to break up with Justin Herbert for Mac Jones. They need to really get it together here. All right? Despite all of that, I'm once again going to drink from the well. I just can't stop. I don't know what it is. All right? Big Ben, concussion protocol, may or may not play. That's huge. Okay? And they're hurting on defense. Herbert and all the LA skill players will be a thing. They're getting desperate here. The AFC West has flipped. Okay? That big lead they had, that's gone. That's evaporated. Chiefs are about to take control of that if they win. Okay? Can they throw the ball with Mason Rudolph if Big Ben does not play? That's the question of the week. And right now, it's 50-50 if Ben suits up. And you know what? Even if Ben does suit up, is Big Ben really even a thing anymore? Big Ben and Matt Ryan are the same quarterback. They're stiffs. It's time for these guys to retire.
Who's giving the Steelers all these primetime games, too, against Seattle? And now you got to watch them. I don't know.
They've been on prime time like 5 times this year. It's because they're the Steelers.
I hate the Steelers.
I hate the Steelers, too. Another team that's probably in the bed. The Rooney family's probably in bed with Ryan Goodell. Seriously. You see Ryan Goodell go to bed at night, and then in bed with him is like a million teams. And you know who those teams are. We've mentioned some of them on World of Matchups. So, I say that they're in big trouble, flying across the country. Pittsburgh has to travel 3,000 miles to play this game. And I think L.A. finally gets right at home under the lights and wins a game. Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, these are good players. Now, something to note, Joey Bosa is in the COVID protocol. That's a huge loss, but I still think they'll have enough to win a game. Like I said before, it's getting really desperate for the Chargers here. The Raiders, the Broncos, the Chargers, they're losing week after week, and the Chiefs are winning and winning and winning. I'm telling you, this is a huge game for them, and I can't see them losing it. The pick, San Diego Superchargers. Let's roll. Next, Monday Night Football. Giants at the Bucks. Bucks have lost 2 in a row. Ooh, Tom Brady on his show, getting stern. We need to do what we need to do, and we need to fix it. And da-da-da-da-da. Ooh.
I just want to say that show that he does is awful.
It's awful.
It is the worst.
I don't know why he
radio.
does it.
Oh, it's not even. He acts like he hosts the show.
Yeah.
It's just a press conference on live radio.
Yeah, I
That's
forget the
all
name
it
of
is.
the show. He does it on Sirius XM. It's not good.
Oh, and Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I love the guy. Like, I think he's a really good dude. Horrible on the radio.
I know. I mean, everyone wants to be the Manning brothers now. You know what I mean? And rightfully so, man. It's something cool to do after you retire. I totally get it. But you're either good at it or you're not. You know, Booger McFarlane's gone for a reason. You know, you don't want to ride that guy's coattails. So, back to Tom Brady. I do think that the defending champs are hurting. They're suffering their second loss in a row. Vita Vea, we just talked about him earlier. They're going to be all business in a get-right spot versus New York at home on Monday night under the lights. Okay? Now, Tampa's on skill alone. On skill alone, Tampa Bay should win this game. Saquon Barkley is 50-50, but he should return. Vita Vea is out. I think the Giants and DJ will play well, but I just don't think it will be enough. I just cannot see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady losing 3 in a row. Their defense is still good. They still got Mike Evans. All right? Losing to the Washington football team will be their low point of the season. The Giants' offense is going to struggle to move the ball versus a motivated Tampa Bay squad. Expect a repeat of their game last year when Tampa went to the Meadowlands and played them tough and hung on for a win. Expect that, okay? I just don't think the Giants are going to have enough to do it. Traveling down to Tampa, I think this is probably my best bet. I can't see Tom Brady losing 3 straight games. How many times? It would be something really cool if you could find out how many times Tom Brady's lost 3 games in his career. I don't think, has it happened? Maybe once in like a storied 20-year career? I don't know, you know? So this is my best bet this week. I love Tampa here. Look, the Giants are who the Giants are. And especially if Saquon can't go, Devontae Booker's got a hip pointer he's hurt too. So now you're on your 3rd string running back versus a team that is number 1 against the run, number 1 or number 2 against the run. Going to stack the box and dare Daniel Jones to throw. They'll be in big trouble. The pick here is easily Tampa Bay. Let's roll.
The last time Tom Brady lost 3 games in a row, 2002.
2002, folks. Let that sink in. Do the math. You do the math. 2002. That's a long time ago. Long time ago.
About as long as I am alive.
Spencer was in diapers the last time they lost 3 in a row. If I don't, boy, this may be more of a best bet than me taking the Patriots last night. To me, this is a cookie. If the Giants beat Tampa on Monday night, I can't put Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl conversation at all. All right, folks. That's the breakdown. It was sweet. But we're not done. We're going to come back with a commercial, and then we're going to come back with my friend, Scott Broyles. We're going to break down our game of the week, sponsored by Felony Fitness. Mr. Scott Broyles and I will break down the Kansas City Cheifs at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. My name is Dexter Reed. You've been watching World of Matchups. See you on the flip.
everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. Before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guest, we must welcome in our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's: no fear, no forgiveness, no failure, and no false hopes. Those who say whatever doesn't kill you will make you stronger, be patient because they are coming back around to finish the job. Felony Fitness now, Felony Fitness forever. All right, everybody, welcome back to World of Matchups, and this is the part of the show that we love the best, where we break down our Game of the Week. This week's Game of the Week will be my very own Kansas City Chiefs at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. And to come in this week and break this game down will be my good friend, second time on the show, the elder statesman, the Deacon of Dallas, the one, the only, Mr. Scott Broyle. Scotty, welcome to the show, my guy.
Great to be here, Dex.
Appreciate you coming on and showing into World of Matchups the way you have. So let's break this game down. But before we do, World of Matchups is the information superhighway. So let's give the people a little bit of information. This Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs game, it runs deep. There's a lot of history that happens with this matchup that a lot of people don't know about. Most people today just see it as being two high-powered offenses that are playing a game in November. But let's talk about what happened years ago.
Well, Dex, you're correct that a lot of people don't know this. I didn't realize that until I started talking to friends about being on the show and saying, we're playing KC. In 1960, both organizations came into football. In fact, Lamar Hunt started the AFL with the Dallas Texans. And, of course, the Cowboys started in 1962 with Tom Landry being their coach. And basically, in 1963, Lamar decided he didn't want to compete with the Cowboys and moved them to Kansas City. And just the history of the AFL, of Hank Stram. I mean, think about the coaches that have been with both organizations, from Tom Landry being there 29 years to Jimmy Johnson. So the first 34 years of the Cowboys, we had Landry and Johnson. We've had Bill Parcells. The Chiefs, what have they had? They've had the great Hank Stram. They've had Marv Levy. They've had Dick Vermeil. So the history of that is there. Also, the history of, there's a trophy called the Preston Road Trophy.
Yep.
Yeah, the Preston Road Trophy. And the reason why this came about was because Lamar Hunt, when he did go to Kansas City, he stayed and lived in Dallas. And he had this trophy made between him and Jerry. And the funniest part is when he had it made, Jerry wanted to come see it. And what Lamar did was just put it in the window and wouldn't let Jerry actually even have it at first. But in the contrast between the teams, I believe, too, is, I hate to say this, but the Cowboys' class levels dropped a lot since Jerry took over. And Kansas City's always had class. In fact, still, that trophy is still going back and forth with, I believe his son's name's Clark.
Clark
Is
Hunt.
that? Yeah, so it's going still between that two. So there's just so much history for the NFL with these two organizations. I even know a gentleman that played, Elijah Dawson. He played for the Texans, and then he went to Kansas City a few years. He's a poker buddy of mine. And he always said just how classy Lamar was. And I think everybody in the league agrees with that. But with that going on, we have two high-powered offenses going on today.
Yeah, it's going to be the game within the game, ladies and gentlemen. There's always a lesson to be learned. The Kansas City Chiefs, formerly known as the Dallas Texans, every now and then they do the red throwbacks, and on the helmet you have the white Texas logo. And a lot of people don't know that, they derived from that, to be where they are today. So let's get current. I believe that this game is a pick 'em. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 2.5. How? I have absolutely no idea. Now, I was at the game Sunday. They absolutely dismantled the Raiders. People are saying they're back. I'm not so sure. This, to me, is going to be the biggest test of the season. If the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, I believe they will make the playoffs, and people need to start taking them seriously and wish that they never let them hang around. In my mind, currently, right now, I believe the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the National Football League. Your thoughts?
Really?
I do.
I think the Cowboys, honestly, are just really well balanced in offense and defense right now. The way the defense is playing under Quinn, I believe last time I was on, I was telling you that Quinn, he just puts the players in position to make plays. And if you can do that in the NFL and have your players in the right position, then good things happen. And, you know, with what Diggs is doing is just phenomenal with 8 interceptions. But everybody from Anthony Brown,
Parsons,
he has 3. You know, Lewis has 2 interceptions. For just as far as how terrible our secondary was in the past to what they've done just in 1 year under Quinn's amazing. And now you got the rookie Parsons doing what he's doing, and the way the Cowboys offense is set up too. You know, I feel like people don't realize how well Kellen Moore really is. I mean, how he really understands offense through the way that, if you go back to his college days, I didn't even realize this. He won 50 games as a college starting quarterback.
Wow.
Which is a record. In fact, you know, the Columbus club does all the awards for college football. They've changed it from the Sammy Baugh Award to the Kellen Moore Award.
That's pretty amazing.
He won it back-to-back times. And if you look at the Cowboys' offense, I looked up a stat that it was kind of crazy in the fact that it goes with in motion, no huddle. The Cowboys are not in the top 10 in any of those actually using those. But for a success rate, the Cowboys are number 1 in the no huddle, number 3 in motion, number 2 in play action success rate, and RPO, run pass option, they're number 2. So they're really spread it out. So you don't really know what's going with the Cowboys because they don't have just one set. We're going to pound the ball. We're going to throw it to this guy. And especially you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Cooper. Now you got Gallup as receivers. Even Wilson's playing great this year. Our tight ends are starting to play. And then you got the 2-headed monster in the backfield with Pollard and Zeke. So it's just so difficult. And I honestly feel, Dex, that Dak sitting out last year helped him.
It did.
It really helped him understand it. Him and Kellen were back and forth. And it seems like he's at that stage where kind of a cowboy phrase where Romo was at the end of his career, where he knows where everybody's going to be.
Well, Dak's become more of a student of the game. You know, holding a clipboard, you get to diagnose games. Obviously, albeit while not playing because he was hurt, he's become more of a student of the game. He's able to read defenses a lot better. You know, I called Cooper Kupp as our midseason awards comeback player of the game. But if Dak keeps this up and goes deep into the playoffs, it could definitely be him as well. I agree with pretty much everything you're saying to this point, and I'm a Chief fan. I think the biggest test on Sunday for Kansas City is going to be how are they going to slow down this offense that is very similar to their own. You can't double anybody. You never really know what's coming from what angle. CD, it doesn't matter. I mean, Amari Cooper is due for a huge game. It could be him. It could be Schultz. It could be Zeke. It could be anybody. You know what I mean? And now you got Gallup coming back. I mean, there's so many weapons. This is going to be a real test for the Chiefs' defense. Now, the Chiefs' defense has been playing better, albeit playing tomato cans. They have gone from giving up like 30 points a game to giving up like 15 points a game. They're getting a lot of help back on defense. Snead's playing a lot better. You know what you're getting from the Honey Badger. I think this could be the type of game where whoever has the ball last is going to win. And I've been calling for weeks now, and it hasn't come to fruition, but I've been calling for weeks now, a Harrison Butker game-winning kick. And I think that this could be the week that we see that. Obviously, I'm taking Kansas City because I'm a Chief fan and they're starting to come alive and I want to believe in them. And I do think that if they beat Dallas, they're going to the playoffs and going far. But it's going to take a collective team effort. I think home field advantage will be a huge part of this game as well. But I see the overs getting smashed here. I could even see both teams getting in the high 30s. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't really know if either defense can slow the other down. You know, like I said, the Cowboys defense is playing better, but how do you really stop that offense?
You don't.
Especially
you
the way
don't.
they've been rolling. You know, and if you look at all the scores, and the funniest thing to me about this year in the NFL is, like, look at both teams. The Cowboys have 7 wins. The Chiefs have 6. But who they really beaten?
Yeah.
You know, and that's both of them have only beaten 2 teams
that were decent,
that are above 500. And the Cowboys have beaten the Chargers 5-4, and then they've beaten the Patriots.
And they got blasted by a really bad Bronco team. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have lost to some really bad teams as well. It's any given Sunday. It really is.
And the fact that the Chiefs, in their losses, that they've only one time scored more than 25 in their 4 losses. Yeah. And so that's where I honestly feel like this is going to be something more like a, I don't know, 38-31, or like you said, 38-35.
Yeah,
game.
that's what my final is going to be. It's going to be KC 38, Dallas 35. That's what I'm calling. I mean, I sat in the stands as a fan on Sunday night, and I really enjoyed the game. But I also was a student on Sunday night, and I really, I was in the end zone. So I'm watching both sides of the ball, and I'm dissecting how the Raiders, played the cover 2 shell on Mahomes. And Mahomes just took everything underneath for the very first time all season long. He took what the defense gave him, and he just gave him paper cuts, and then went deep and scored. And then finally, when things softened up, you saw what happened. And I think it's a testament to Patrick finally understanding that he doesn't have to play hero ball. If they give you the underneath, Darrell Williams is very serviceable. I don't know if CEH will be back, but it's enough to score the same 7 points. Whether you score in 2 plays or 11 plays, 7 points is 7 points. And I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have finally made adjustments with Eric Bieniemy to take what the defense gives them. And if they do this on Sunday, I'm pretty sure that this is a game that they can win. I know there's a lot of problems on the line. I know a lot of people don't believe in the Chiefs' defense, but they're home, and all of Kansas City is going to be there. And I think it's going to be a really, really great game. What are your closing thoughts on this game? Who's the players to watch for you?
My closing thoughts on it is, first of all, the Cowboys, they play really well on the road.
They really do.
They've done it ever since Dak's been the quarterback. Since 2016, they're road warriors. And I just feel like the Cowboys are not going to go in there intimidated at all. It just depends on the Kansas City line.
Yeah.
With Gregory out and Lawrence still out, the Cowboys' rush is not what it should be. But then again, they're going to play Parsons down and let him do what he does.
Yeah.
And Dex, I've never seen a guy be able to avoid blocks like this kid.
This kid's unbelievable, bro.
I don't want to say Lawrence Taylor, but
he has a little bit of all the greats in one player. He's unreal. They got it right with him.
My friend was telling me that when we watched some game film last night, and he really avoids the guards coming on sweeps. You name it, he finds a way to just not get hit and go right for the ball. I've never seen anybody just zero in.
Guy's got a nose for the football.
I think the way the Cowboys are playing right now, the way Diggs is playing, even Anthony Brown, the secondary, and the fact that Mahomes does have 10 interceptions, and he has multiple games with more than 1 interception. So I think if the Cowboys cannot turn the ball over maybe more than one time, they really have a shot here.
Oh, they definitely have a shot. I said, this is a pick'em game to me. How the Chiefs are favored by 2.5, and I'm a Chiefs fan to the grave. To me, it's absolutely mind-blowing when you consider what these two teams have done and what they're doing currently. I flip a coin. I could easily see Dallas winning. I could easily see Kansas City winning this game as well. It's a very tough game to call.
I'm going with my final score of 34-27 Dallas.
Right on. I'm doing 38-35. I think there'll be a lot more fireworks than that in a Kansas City Chief win that really propels them back into, the Chiefs that people are used to seeing. Guys like Stephen A. Smith were throwing dirt on this grave. I was kind of letting go and just enjoying the ride and, kind of forget the playoffs. But what I saw on Sunday gave me hope They destroyed that team, and that's a hostile environment. And it was 50-50 Chief fans to Raider fans. And so this Chiefs got a tough schedule, which I think helps them. Because if they beat these bigger, better, badder teams, when they get to the playoffs, they're going to be battle-tested and ready. But they got to beat Dallas first. Beat the team that's in front of you. All right, bro. We appreciate you coming on, man. Final thoughts you got? What else you got? You got one more thing?
Well, I just think, like you just said, this whoever wins this is going to –
They're in the driver's seat.
Really just start – they're going to start running the table. If you look at both the schedules, they both should be able to win a bunch of games towards the end of this season. And I just think whoever wins this, the Cowboys are actually trying to go for the number one.
I love the Cowboys this year, man. I've said it all year on the World of Matchups.
It's something that a lot of people criticize McCarthy because he does do some crazy in-game stuff. His time management, he goes for it on fourth down. But right now, the Cowboys have a look that the Packers had with him is just cocky and confident. Really confident. They don't let one thing get them down. If something happens in the game, they'll bounce back.
Both teams.
And I haven't seen this in the past with the Cowboys.
It's been a while.
And so
it's been a while.
So I really feel like McCarthy is letting both the Moore and Quinn coach.
I think that they're winning despite McCarthy. They're winning despite McCarthy. I like the Cowboys. I don't know about in the playoffs because of McCarthy, but I do hear what you're saying. You know, the year that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they went 6-4 and were struggling after getting blown out by the Titans, and then they ran the table and didn't lose another game. History repeats itself. I sure hope that that's the same kind of history that we're seeing here going into 2022. On behalf of Spencer the Wiz and World of Matchups, Scotty, we appreciate you coming on, breaking down this game with us. We thank you for the history lesson. We thank you for being the person that you are, and we look forward to having you on in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for the elder statesman and the deacon of Dallas, Mr. Scott Broyles. Bro, I'll talk to you later, man. Enjoy the game. All right.
Take care.
Thanks, you too, man. Later. All right, everybody. That's all we have for this week's show, but we'd be remiss if we didn't take a second to go over our picks for the week. This week, World of Matchups is taking the San Francisco 49ers, the Carolina Panthers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles, the JETS upset special New York Jets, the Baltimore Ravens, the Tennessee Touchdown Titans, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and our game of the week, pick 38-35 winner, will be the Kansas City Chiefs. Folks, we're all over social media. Don't play yourself by not knowing where we're at. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Find us at Grab It Television. Sign up. Like, subscribe, get all the content coming to your inbox whenever we drop a show, and quick hitters. On behalf of Spencer the Wiz, Grab It Television, we want to thank you for watching, and remember, you are watching the most comprehensive and uncensored National Football League television show to hit the big screen this year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching World of Matchups. We'll see you next week.